morning, everybody. Forever Nenaa here, and welcome back to
Wii Deleted You, the animatic by the masochist version.
So guys, this is the grand finale that we all been waiting for. It actually might be a whole hour, guys. This actually might be an hour-long finale, but we're gonna go ahead and try it today after all, so we can finally put an end to We Deleted You and see the conclusion of Eteled, of Austin, and everyone. So let's just go ahead and get into it and see what else Austin has in store for us today. Okay, so We Deleted You Corrupted Data 2. So let's go ahead and get into this.
I woke up. I found myself in a dark room, laying in a bed, inside of a hallway.
Well, right off the bat.
Hospital hallway.
Right off the bat.
The atmosphere was dark, and I could see countless to endless beds in the distance of this hallway.
Huh.
After looking around my surroundings, the reel of memories flooded back to me. What happened to me? I
Were
thought
you
silently
shocked?
to
And now
myself.
he's stuck in the Wii.
I stood up, and I instantly almost tripped. My body suddenly felt sort of incomplete.
Oh gosh.
Then, I looked at my hands. Every few seconds, they would kind of glitch out.
That's so weird.
I realized that my whole body would do that. It was like my model was sort of corrupted. Then,
just pretend it's happening out throughout the whole episode.
Questions were filling my mind. I couldn't comprehend what had happened to me. But then, a memory came back to me. From some weeks ago, that mysterious document from the manager. Is this
the hidden room?
that hallway?
Then I'm just like so confused that they kept in the Wii.
I'm still inside of the Wii, I continued. I sighed. But after that, I noticed that my voice changed. It sounded
distorted?
Weird. It sort of sounded glitchy and distorted.
Oh, yeah.
Then, a realization came to mind.
I feel so sorry for Austin,
just
though.
maybe, the shock of electricity that I received corrupted my model, maybe even my soul, made it act like this, but I hoped it was not permanent.
It might be, it just might be.
Looking for a possible way out, I needed to go back to the hole. And as I walked, the hallway started getting darker and darker. Suddenly I got to the end, and I found a door right in front of me. As I went through that door, I found a chair with the mysterious machine beside it.
Why is that there? Wait, why is this here?
Kind of speechless.
What?
When I entered, I instantly got reminded of the mysterious electric chair that was mentioned in the reports alongside the hospital hallway. I couldn't comprehend it, but it was real.
That's so weird. Who made this room?
Suddenly, I heard a scream. It was an agonizing cry for help. I immediately rushed outside. When I got out of the room, I saw a me, or better said, Henry's me.
Oh gosh.
I stood there for a second, looking at it, and examined it directly. It was wearing light blue hospital clothing, holding its hand to its stomach, containing a very fearful and paranoid expression plastered on its face. I stared at it for a couple of seconds. Then, without hesitation, I jokingly tried to be friendly to it to see where it would go. It was obviously just a me. It wouldn't kill a fly. "Hey there, fellow me," I said. Then, I noticed that on its hospital clothes, it had a little name tag with its name, and I read it out loud. "Eteled, huh? It's still a weird name," I continued. But then, the me suddenly spoke. With a shocked tone, it said, "My name is Henry, and what are you?" Wait, Henry? I jumped backwards, taken completely off guard.
The guy that killed you!
I was not expecting it to do anything, but...
That's just sucky.
Henry? No, that's impossible. But then, I remembered it all. I remembered that Henry was screaming when I was being electrocuted. It all connected in my head right from that moment forward. For some sort of reason, we were both electrocuted, and Henry died from the result. And now, Henry's soul lives in this we, or more specifically, in his me. There's no viable way Henry now lives as this me, I thought. We just stood there for a couple of seconds in complete silence with bare to no movement.
Like, what would you guys do? Like, seriously.
But then I snapped back.
You're a murderer.
I remembered what he did to me.
Literally in your face.
I started to slowly walk to him. And while I moved forward towards him, I started to speak. "Well, well, well. Look who we've got backed into a corner here. How's it going, old friend? What have you been up to? I myself have been having a nice time around here and adapting. Wonder why. Oh, maybe it's because you're the reason why I'm dead.
Yeah.
Henry stood there, eyes widened while shifting back towards the wall as he responded weakly. Austin? How the hell did you end up here? You're supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be gotten rid of. I killed you!
Oh my
He exclaimed in fear.
Like,
Oh, you thought you killed me, huh? Hilarious. I'm truly charmed, Henry. Did you really think you could have taken me alive that easily? I alleged back at the figure standing in front of me, abruptly obtaining confidence in my voice. It looks like the tables have been turned around towards my side. Really? I chuckled before continuing. It looks like I was worthy of obtaining a second chance at life, just how I desired it. What better way is there to use the time I got than giving you what you deserve?
Oh.
The hopeless figure only fearfully stared back at me, looking objectively just like prey. Austin, please, I'm sorry. I never wanted it to turn out like this. I'm sorry for killing you. I have been really trying to move on from it. I swear to you.
You're trying to move on from killing somebody? From killing somebody, and you the person that you killed, you're just gonna be,
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just killed you. I'm trying to move on from it.
what?
He continued only to cower in panic. It's too late to go back and try to fix the past. The both of us are dead and we can't take it back. But it's not too late to fix what comes forward. We can always make peace and move on from the past. Can we?
No, he's over
He
here.
anxiously exclaimed. His offer only became more and more desperate. I only scoffed back in disgust.
He's just trying to save himself.
Well, you really should have thought twice about acting like you did before taking it out on others, Henry.
Honestly.
I worked too hard for this company, and it's all thanks to you that I've lost everything I've worked up for.
Seriously.
We're stuck here, and there's nothing you can do about it. You wanted to take everything from me, didn't you? I could feel my adrenaline rushing, my temper taking over. It would only be so long before I snapped. I couldn't wait another second. I rushed towards him forcefully and punched him directly in the face. Henry's body was shoved backwards away from
Straight
the
up.
force of the hit.
Just oh
Henry
my
placed
god.
one of his hands towards the spot of the hit and held it, before locking eyes with mine. He growled back at me, finally cracking. You want vengeance, don't you, Austin?
Well, yeah.
Very well.
Duh.
Henry then charged at me and tried to tackle me, but was abruptly stopped from my swift movements. Before he could pin me down, I slammed my fist
I like
right
the little
towards his
battle
face once
music.
more, hitting him before he collapsed onto the floor.
This is low-key an epic moment.
Henry rose again, standing up and attempting another attack with his right arm, but it was blocked by mine. Then, I noticed his leg, and did a leg sweep that made Henry fall over.
Oh
At the
gosh,
distance,
they're really
I
going
noticed
at
the room
it.
where the electric chair was located.
We're gonna go drag him
I
over
grabbed a
there.
hold of Henry's leg and began to drag him towards the room.
Drag him.
He was struggling, but I didn't hesitate one bit. This was what I always wanted.
What, to torture
I
him?
finally arrived
or
at the
to,
electric
like,
chair room.
Get back at him?
Then, I threw Henry towards the electric chair and tied him up while he was desperately trying to fight back. I was quick to find a dial in the device beside it, and I proceeded to crank it up. It was around 2 seconds before it started, but in those seconds, I looked at Henry's face. He was looking at me with an angry look. Henry then was severely electrocuted for several seconds. I only stood there and watched the view, satisfied, with a grin on my face.
Dang, but...
Well. Look at how the tables have turned once again. Oh, how pitiful it is to see you here all helpless and restrained, with nowhere to run. This is what you get.
Oh
When the
my
procedure was
gosh.
finally over, Henry had passed out, and I looked at his body, happy with my accomplishment.
Are you happy
Some
now?
minutes had passed, and
You
Henry
got your
hadn't woken up.
revenge.
While I waited for him to wake up, I decided to kill some time by doing anything, but I didn't know what. But, while I was still at Nintendo, I figured out how to easily pull up the Wii's internal files and developer tools while I was directly inside the Wii.
Huh.
So, while Henry was still strapped to the chair and passed out, I was busy examining the code of the mysterious hospital hallway and the electric chair. While I was examining it, I figured out that the hospital hallway is where MIIS go when they get erased in the Mii channel. When they get erased, the MIIS get automatically strapped to life support machines in the hallway, and a pain value triggers in their code, meaning that they also go through extreme torture when
Who
they get
did that?
deleted.
Who
And
programmed
this
that?
pain value stays triggered in them forever.
That is so
until they die.
weird.
And the value doesn't seem to be removable.
Who would program that?
And the pain could even be multiplied by a bug in the code, if the Mii would somehow be deleted multiple times. But that was unlikely to happen.
Oh, because
Soon
Eteled was
enough,
able to do
after
that.
some amount of time decided by RNG, the Mii would die. and get completely erased from the Wii's memory.
Why is this a thing?
The code seemed to have been done by an amateur. It was super easy to read through, and it was filled with errors and bugs. Simply by looking at it, I found out how to easily escape the hallway and go back to the MIIS channel and back with a bug on the code. I didn't understand why all of this was here.
It's so
By a
weird.
technical
Why did...
standpoint, having this extra process on the Wii's processor would not help with anything.
It
And by a
doesn't.
developer standpoint, this feature didn't make sense either. But anyways, I started looking at the electric chair's code after that, and I found out that it creates fake shocks to simulate electricity, so it wouldn't have any of the normal effects real electricity could cause on someone. Basically, triggering a pain value on the patient's code again.
Oh, just
But this
the
time,
value.
the pain doesn't stay until they die. The code didn't point to this chair being used for anything. Its processes and features were not tied to the hallway at all, besides them being connected by rooms. After I stopped looking through the code, Henry hadn't woken up yet, and I got tired of waiting.
Just snoozing away.
So, I used the bug I found in the code to send Henry's unconscious body back to the MIIS channel. After
This is
that,
so
I left the
weird.
room, and I discovered one of the holes to go back to the hallway place, which sends me to the other electronics at Nintendo. In relief, I ran over to it. But, when I tried to go through,
Oh, he's not
something
able to come out.
stopped me. It was like a barrier.
Now you're
An
stuck.
invisible wall of sort was pausing me from going through. I could not even see the other side. I desperately tried to go through, but I was unable to. I kept pushing myself for several minutes. Thoughts were filling my mind while I was in the process. I'm never gonna escape this stupid Wii, I thought. I
that
only
sucks.
stopped as I let my temper rise.
That really sucks.
I was livid, and that couldn't stop me from hitting the wall beside the hole. I
Honestly,
couldn't
Austin
stand it any
doesn't
longer.
deserve any of this.
I pointed the blame towards this abominable world for trapping me inside this damn Wii, and for everything. I swore one thing though.
You'll
Henry's
get back.
going to regret it for what he's done to me.
Technically,
and he won't
yeah,
get away
he
from me
did.
this
He
time.
did trap him in
I
like
immediately
this
rushed
world
back to the MIIS
by
channel,
killing him
and
in the
I
first
saw Henry
place.
standing there, awake and deep in thought. I
Gosh,
remembered what I
are you
saw
thinking
in the
about your
code of the hallway,
actions?
that the MIIS would go through extreme pain when deleted, and that gave me a great idea. I sneaked up on him and I took him down to the ground. I grabbed a hold of his leg unexpectedly, and I started dragging him to the delete icon on the MIIS channel.
Oh gosh.
We finally got to the delete button, and I forced Henry inside of it. But before I finished, Henry whimpered in defeat. "You heartless bastard."
What?
After the deed was done,
Heartless?
I felt not
Excuse
quite
me?
satisfied with my achievement.
He's the one who
So I
killed
decided I
him.
could play with Henry for just a bit.
Wait, guys. Okay, so I understand. What Austin is doing to get back at him is not okay. Like, you're not supposed to try it again. Like, honestly, in my opinion, revenge is never really a good thing. Especially if you're doing like damage to somebody. Like, honestly, most of the time you should just take the high road usually. But like Etilet is completely at fault, and he's just due for some karma, some bad karma in my opinion, and he's just gonna sit here and act like the freaking victim, and I don't like, he's just like, you heartless. Like, I don't know, that's just my thoughts about it. I'm not verifying any of these, I'm not justifying any of their actions, but like personally, I don't know. Let's just continue. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's late, I don't know.
I went back to the hallway and found Henry standing there, with his back facing towards me. I headed towards him, only with taunting intentions. "What's the matter, little me? You're not a fan of getting deleted?" I teased, smugly looking at him. Henry suddenly shifted his body direction and faced me, but didn't speak a word. "Ah, what's wrong, Henry? Are you
Well,
scared
he's got
of
his
me?
axe.
I wouldn't have expected
He got his
you to
axe
back down
now.
this easily. You were so ruthless back there. What happened to your confidence, huh? You know all of this is your fault."
It's
I
so
continued,
true.
smirking to myself in delight. From what I least expected, Henry talked back. "Don't call me that." Henry
What?
responded with an almost silent tone.
Henry?
"Now, what was that? I need you to speak louder." I raised an eyebrow, but only went on, taking charge of the conversation. Henry's pupils expanded, to the point of almost completely covering his eyes. Before I could think of it, Henry pulled an axe out of nowhere and shouted,
Literally.
"Don't call me Henry!"
Where did he get that
Immediately
from?
after crying
Literally.
out, Henry rushed after me, about to swing his axe. He quickly got near me and swung his weapon with force.
Hey.
But I surprisingly caught the blade with my hands.
Let's go!
I didn't think it would work. I even expected to miss.
This is
My,
like literally like
you
the
think a little
scene
weapon
from
is enough
the
to
Friday
scare
fucking
me?
mod.
Where the hell
I
did
guess
you
this
even
is where they
find
got it
this?
from.
I exclaimed. After I said that, Henry continued swinging his axe while I was backing up. I think it can! Suddenly, Henry luckily struck a hit on me, right on my chest.
Man,
I dropped on the floor,
just
holding
not
my
rooting
hand
for
on
this
the
guy.
wound.
I
My
don't know.
vision panned down. My wound was huge.
Ooh.
There was no blood or anything similar.
And that's how
Only
that got
pain.
there. Okay, everything's like
Pain
coming
that
together.
I needed to give back to Henry.
Take him to the electric
So,
chair.
Do you really think that would do anything to me? I exclaimed.
Interesting.
Without hesitation, I quickly rushed at Henry, leaving him with no time to react. I grabbed him by the neck and pulled him up. With a grin on my face and a scared look on Henry's, I glared down at my hand. I forgot I had modeled it to be low poly, so they looked like claws.
Claws! What, are you
I
gonna
realized they were
claw him
perfect for the
out?
job. I smiled and swiftly cut Henry's head off with my claws.
Revenge
I dropped Henry's
taken.
dead body on the floor, but I was still not satisfied.
What are you gonna do?
I knew that Henry would appear on the hallway again at any minute, and he would most likely find a way to get back to the MIIS channel. So, I figured that playing with Henry for the rest of eternity wouldn't be satisfactory, since he would come back again and again. I started walking. I wanted to find a way to punish Henry for all that he did to me once and for all. The pain on my wound had already stopped aching by then. While I continued walking, something caught my eye. On a wall at my right, I saw
Emergency?
a broken glass
Oh,
box
that's where you
with
got
the
the axe
label
from, huh?
Emergency on top of it.
Literally, who did
That
the
must have been
person
where
that
the axe
designed this
Henry
room?
was using came from. It would be obvious
Like,
they would
why
add
did they
some
decide
kind of
to leave this
background
in
prop
here?
like that in this kind of scenery. Then I ignored it and continued walking. While I was walking, I started brainstorming various methods, but suddenly a memory came to me. I remember the thing that I found while working on homework for college all those
Wow,
months
he's
ago.
on good memory.
ECT.
I would have forgotten about this stuff so
Electroshock
fast.
therapy. If I could use it correctly, I could make Henry go through extreme pain and forget everything about himself. But how? I knew that the electric chair inside the Wii caused fake shocks. I started thinking. But then, an idea came over me. The power supply! I exclaimed with excitement.
Huh.
I realized that if I could find a way for the electric chair to draw in real power from the power supply, I could guide the electricity towards the electric chair. But for it to work, the Wii would have to be plugged in, something that would be hard to achieve. Except, if some unlucky bastard bought the Wii we were in. If I could
How did
execute
he
the
set
plan
that
while
up?
the Wii was plugged in, it could work. But then, I realized that if the motherboard, where the processor and RAM were, suddenly got a lot of power from the power supply, the motherboard and the rest of the Wii could overheat or even melt.
What? That's
So I
a...
only had one chance to do it.
Oh.
One chance to finally punish Henry once and for all. I immediately ran towards the electric chair room and got to work. I knew that it would take a lot of time to do, especially because of this messy code, but it would be worth it. Then, I started modifying the code of the electric chair.
So did years go by
I was
for him?
modifying it so it would draw energy directly from the power supply. It was difficult because the code of the chair was really messy, but the progress I got so far was excellent. I thought the plan would be executed perfectly. Until, a couple of days later, I felt the Wii power turn on. Somebody already bought the Wii?
That was
I exclaimed.
fast.
But it was barely 10 days after the supposed launch date of the console. Was the Wii that popular for it to sell that quick? I questioned to myself.
Was
I
Kyle?
rushed to the Mii channel. I saw Henry standing there, looking at the screen, acting just like a Mii. And on the other side of the screen, I saw a kid, a little kid. And this kid was looking at Henry with a frightened expression. Ah, perfect. An innocent kid now has to experience Henry's bullshit, I thought to myself, with a hint of concern.
That is
As much as I
wow.
despised all of humanity, I always had a soft spot for kids.
Wow,
I knew that
okay.
they were purely impeachable and naive. They never meant any harm.
Austin's awesome.
Unfortunately for them, though,
Well,
it won't always be this way.
you know, besides the
They'd
revenge
eventually
stuff.
grow up to become just like the rest.
Oh.
So, if I wanted to execute my plan without affecting the kid, I would have to wait.
Wow.
But my thoughts were interrupted by the kid. The kid suddenly grabbed Henry with the Wii remote and deleted him. I was shocked by this happening. I didn't think the kid would delete him. Damn, was that me really that creepy? I thought.
He sound
Then,
creepy.
the kid proceeded to create
It's
a new
like,
Mii. This Mii was seemingly less obscure compared to Henry's, with average features, but it appeared identical to the kid's appearance. And this kid named his Mii Kyle, something that I would assume was the kid's name. But by the time the kid finished his Mii, Edeled was back at the Mii channel. He must have figured
Like, nothing happened. Like, can you imagine being Austin just watching this whole thing go down? Eteled, who literally, like, this guy literally murdered you. He got into the Wii. You guys just had this whole fight. And, like, this guy's just going to sit there and act like a regular me and just stand there. This whole scene is just so ridiculous to me because it's like, Eteled, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't know. I feel like I've just completely left Eteled's side.
Figured out the bug too, huh? Then the kid immediately deleted him again the first chance he got. He proceeded to leave the Wii menu and decided to go play some Wii Sports, the Wii's packed-in game. I didn't want to stay to see the rest. After all, the modifications to the chair were still not done. I went back to the electric chair room and continued with my work. But after around 20 minutes, I heard the kid outside. Apparently, he started having a conversation with Henry back at the MIIS channel. I couldn't make out any of Henry's words, but I could hear the kid. The kid was mentioning how Eteled was creepy, and how he didn't want him in his MIIS channel. I felt sympathy for the kid, for having to deal with Henry and all his bullshit.
Yeah,
But
straight BS.
that gave me even more motivation to punish Henry. Some days had passed, and while I was messing around with the files, I figured out how to change certain properties of the Wii's image. I could make the screen go black, go to static, completely disconnect it from the TV, and I could even change the atmosphere of the MIIS channel. But I bet that Henry already figured out how to do it, since he also figured out the bug to go back to the MIIS channel.
That's true.
I thought that this ability could be useful for my advantage later. Around a week had passed, and I was almost finished with the modifications to the chair. I hadn't heard much of the kid, until that same day, I heard a new voice. I went back to the MIIS channel to see what was happening.
This is interesting.
But when I arrived to find Henry in the middle of killing a Mii. The kid's Mii, with an axe. Kyle's Mii seemed to be in a lot of pain. It seemed like Henry had cut off the legs of the Mii, and was about to deal the final blow.
Like, seriously, what's
Henry
up with
sure
this
has something
guy?
about cutting off legs, huh? I looked at the screen, and I saw the kid, and another one, I would assume to be his friend. I wanted to stop Henry, but I was too late. He then proceeded to cut off the Mii's head with the axe. After a couple of seconds, the Wii got unplugged, and I went back to the electric chair room, defeated. I felt guilty that I couldn't stop Henry. It's safe to assume that the kid, Kyle, is now in some sort of shock, or even traumatized, along with his friend.
Wow.
But that pushed me even more to do what was needed.
Looking back at this through
As more
Austin's
time
point of
passed,
view,
the chair was finally finished, but I haven't felt the Wii being plugged in since that day. It would be safe to assume that the Wii was saved somewhere, or even returned to the retailers. So I waited. It was a long wait. But I would sometimes find myself daydreaming about how it would feel to be a human again. I couldn't even finish college when I was alive. I left my parents with so much college debt.
dang.
Or I would find myself dreaming about many other things. Things that came out of my imagination. Like self-made TV shows, drama, comedies, etc. I would even play Wii Sports every once in a while. Being inside of the game itself would be something that my past self would have loved. And it was kind of fun, to be honest.
What, with Eteled there,
Sometimes I would go back to the MIIS channel and play with Henry. But the things I did were not satisfying me because of the anticipation to finally execute the plan. Now, it had been around 10 years. I could tell by the Wii's internal calendar. I was taking a nap, sitting beside the electric chair, until I suddenly felt the Wii being plugged in. I instantly woke up. I didn't hear the kid. I heard a female voice. She proceeded to open the Wii menu, and then she started to talk to Henry. Again, I couldn't understand Henry, but I could hear the new voice. Apparently this new voice was named Sam, but she had empathy towards Henry and treated him with kindness and respect. She didn't want to delete him like Kyle did. I was a bit annoyed by that. I didn't think Henry deserved to be
He
spared.
doesn't! Now that I'm thinking more into it, oh my gosh, guys, like, it's so ridiculous. Like, now that I finally know, like, actually what's going on, like, looking back through Austin's point of view, I'm just kind of just upset the whole time. I'm honestly just upset. That's the only thing I can say. This whole time, I'm just upset. Like, oh my gosh.
They then proceeded to talk about how Mii's are sent to a horrible place when they get deleted. But apparently, Henry didn't want to speak more about it. That's all I heard that day. I got excited with temptation by the thought of this. I could finally execute my plan, but I would have to wait for the perfect moment to arrive. It would likely have to wait a couple more days, I thought, and so I started to wait. Until 2 days later, I was sitting on the electric chair and I was puzzled, quite bored. It felt too quiet, until I suddenly heard Henry talking to Sam. I realized since I could hear Henry, it meant he was most likely in the hallway for some reason, since I couldn't hear him when he was on the MIIS channel. I was taken by surprise by this. I didn't expect Henry to be deleted, especially by Sam. Sam, I'm not upset with you. I understand that you want to know what happens when a MIIS gets deleted.
And he just sat there and played the victim. Oh my gosh. I don't know. The more I think about it, I just don't like this guy. Oh my gosh.
But please, never do this again. The pain gets worse every time I get deleted. I'll meet you in the MIIS channel.
He's acting like he doesn't
Henry
deserve
explained
it.
with a weak voice. I knew that this would be the perfect moment to finally reveal myself to Sam. I saw Henry going back to the MIIS channel, so I forced the screen to go black, and I started reaching out to Sam. I didn't expect Edeled to be here, I quietly started. Who was that? Sam questioned frightfully.
I like the change
You'll
of
find out
animation.
soon.
You know?
I concluded with a tease.
Like the upgrade in
Then,
animation?
I let the console go back to the Wii menu. I wanted to keep myself mysterious in my identity to Sam for
Why'd
a
you
bit
do
longer.
that though?
I didn't want to do everything at once, so I'll just have to
should've
keep it
told
smart
her.
and inexplicable
I really
for a
feel like
couple
he
of
should have
days,
told her what the heck
just to make
happened.
it perfect. But the next day, while I was listening outside the Wii, something got my attention. I heard Sam talking to someone over the phone, but that someone surprised me. It was Kyle. Kyle? There was no way. The kid that Henry traumatized all those years ago? It wasn't possible. But anyways, Kyle introduced himself as someone who used to own this same Wii and accidentally donated his Wii to a Value Village thrift store. Then he started talking about how he was contacting Sam to destroy the Wii, to deal with Edeled. It seemed Kyle had some similar intentions to mine. We both didn't like Henry one bit.
I'm
I
on your
smiled
side
at this.
now.
Knowing that someone also wanted Henry to be punished made me happy. But then, Sam declined the offer from Kyle. I was expecting that. Then, they had a little argument. No! Edeled isn't some cold-hearted murderer! Sam yelled.
He is!
Well, he chopped off my MIIS legs and head, Kyle shouted. He grew up in a bad environment! And how do you know? Edeled told me! Then, they went silent. What Sam said shocked me. He grew up in a bad environment? How selfish. I was alienated by society, labeled with a bullshit mental condition, and punished for it. But that didn't make me a cold-hearted murderer, like Henry. I was the opposite, really.
That's true!
I was finally contributing something good to society, and Henry had to take it away from me.
Like, that is true. Like, honestly, it all comes down to what you make of a situation, honestly. You can't just sit there and be like, I had a bad childhood, or I grew up in a bad environment, so I'm a murderer. Like, it's literally what you make of it. You could literally either become a murderer, or you can just make something of yourself and, like, put yourself, like, it just, I don't know. That's why I really just don't sympathize for this guy. It's like, you want to sit there and be like, I had a bad environment growing up. It's like, that does not justify killing somebody. Like, and he acts like he doesn't have no remorse at all. He's not upset, or he doesn't have any, what do you call that word? It's like he's acting like he doesn't have any regret for killing him either. He just like, oh, sorry, my guy. Like, when they met up, only because he was in a scary situation, in my opinion. I don't know. Again, this thing's not 100% over. I'm just letting my thoughts as I see this, but like, I don't know. That's also why I just don't,
How insensitive, I thought. After that, I felt Henry turned on the Wii himself, and Sam started affirming to Henry that she was not gonna let Kyle do anything. Damn it, I thought. But I was given the perfect
I don't
motive.
understand why he doesn't make friends
After
with
their
Sam.
little conversation ended, I made the screen turn to black, and I started speaking to Sam once again. Oh, I wish Edeled was deleted. I miss doing all that stuff I did to him.
Why did he say the
Who are you?
Why did he get on her good side. I don't understand why he was just sitting there being like, mysterious, yeah, I'm so mysterious. No, you probably could have gotten her on your side, honestly, if you just told her that this guy actually murdered me and I'm stuck in here. Like, it's like, what?
Sam screamed at me. Someone that needs to complete a procedure that had been postponed again and again, I affirmed. What do you mean? Sam asked. Electricity can cure a lot of things, especially when the shocks go right to the head, I affirmed. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
One more time. Henry wasn't the only one to become a me, I concluded. Not wanting to reveal more, I shut off the console.
This guy.
After that, I heard Sam go to bed.
Why does he want to be so
chuckled.
mysterious?
I knew the plan would be perfect. I started making preparations. I proceeded to delete all the Axe files from the Wii, including all other weapons, in case Henry was to use them to defend himself from me. Then, the next day, I was just done with the preparations, but something that happened surprised me.
Kyle came over?
I heard Sam calling Kyle again, but this time, Sam invited Kyle over, because Sam wanted to know how Henry would react to Kyle. But Sam made sure Kyle doesn't bring up anything, to make sure he doesn't destroy the Wii. I was not expecting that to happen. Sam sure was an idiot. But I knew that this would be the perfect moment to execute my plan.
Because she truly believed in Eteled.
I realized that if I were to show myself, I would have to reveal my name. However, I wanted to prevent revealing my real alias, Austin. I wanted something that could confuse them, and maybe even strike them with fear.
Or corrupted me.
I started thinking for a bit. Then finally, I came up with a good enough name. Corrupted Me. I decided on that name for several reasons, mainly referencing how my body and voice were corrupted because of Henry. And I was, indeed, a me. It made
very
sense,
simple. It's just
but I
so
could have
simple.
come up with something better. Yet, there was not enough time. After about 15 minutes, the Wii turned on, and Henry and Sam made some chit-chat. Before all else could occur, the bell rang. I was enlivened, delighted, and enthralled. The adrenaline in my veins rushed with the fever of excitement. The anticipation was killing me. So, I made my way over to the Me channel and hid myself, so Henry wouldn't see me. By the time I was there, I saw Henry greeting Kyle. On the other side of the screen, I saw 2 teenagers. I saw what I recognized to be Kyle, but grown up. Puberty sure did hit him. And I also saw who I would assume to be Sam in his right. Surprisingly, this was my first time seeing them. I couldn't wait any longer. I wanted to execute my plan right now. Anticipation was killing me. I have been waiting 10 years to do this, but I had to wait for the conversation to be over. Then, they started talking about what Kyle remembers about Eteled. Well, I remember deleting you because I didn't want you on my Me channel. And I also remember you violently murdering my me, Kyle explained. So you're saying I'm a murderer? Maybe.
You are!
Yes, I silently mumbled.
I was
with
trying to
agreement
pause
with
it.
Kyle. Then,
I didn't.
Henry started shouting
I
at
missed.
Kyle because Kyle didn't learn the lesson to not delete me's. What utter bullshit. But I was about to delete Henry for the final time. When their little discussion was over, anticipation took over me, and I made the screen go to static. It was finally time. I took the camera over to the hallway and put it under one of the light sources. I wanted them to see me. Then, when I was ready, I started speaking. Oh, hello, Sam. Did I interrupt Eteled's little meltdown? I teased. Sam looked at Kyle and asked, Do you know who that voice is? Kyle, being confused, said, No, I have no idea. I never heard that voice before. Heh, it's honestly funny to see you trying to figure out who I am. But, how about I just show myself right now? I concluded. Afterwards, I finally walked to the point where they could clearly see me. I smiled and revealed myself. I am the corrupted me.
Ooh,
They looked at me
so
for a second,
bad.
and I saw some relief in Sam's face. She was happy that the mystery was finally out. Finally, I made the screen go to static again and took them back to the Me channel. And I made the Me channel dark to strike fear in Henry and them.
He's
If I
really
wanted to
setting the
execute my
atmosphere.
plan, I needed Henry to be deleted first, because the chair was over at the hallway. So, I had to do it myself. I made my way to the MIIS channel. I stealthily moved up behind Henry and covered his mouth with my hands. Then I started dragging him over to the delete button. "Ready for some therapy, buddy?" I said while dragging him. Henry was struggling for his life while I was dragging him, kicking and struggling, but he couldn't say anything since I had my hand covering his mouth.
You know, it's so crazy. I'm like sitting here thinking, it's so crazy how a simple change of perspective or point of view can change the entire story depending on who's telling it. It's so, okay, I'm sorry.
We finally arrived at the delete icon, and Edeled freed his mouth from my hand. "Let me go, you son of a motherless goat!" he shouted.
Every time.
All the curses in the world. Why did he have to say something so stupid?
Go.
Damn, I was expecting him to say something better. But what could I expect from someone like Henry? I covered his mouth again. "You shut the hell up and deal with the upcoming pain, you understand? I hope you know the pain that you're about to experience will be more than you've ever endured. 650 volts you're getting, my friend. 650 volts! Actually, I didn't know exactly how much electricity he was getting, but I knew that the Wii's power supply could draw enough electricity to be effective for Henry.
Oh gosh.
I just came up with that number to intimidate Henry. I wanted to see him beg for his life. I saw over at the screen, and both of them had fearful, terrified expressions on their faces. Sam was obviously fearing for Henry's wellness. Good, I concluded. When I finally deleted Edeled, I made my way over to the electric chair room, while also leading the screen over there. But while I was doing it, I felt the Wii get disconnected. Did Kyle take it? I wondered. But I knew that Sam would most likely get it back, so I continued strapping Henry to the chair while he fought for his dear little me life. But we heard Kyle running with the Wii. He was most likely taking it somewhere. Then I felt Sam taking it from Kyle, and she ran. I looked at Henry and said, "Looks like Sam is stronger than we thought, right, Henry?" "Well, she being so nice to you is going to be her downfall," I concluded. "What is it that you want? Why can't you get over all this? It's been 10 years or even longer. Why won't you give up on all this nonsense?" Henry questioned with concern. I looked at him for a solid second, and then I hesitantly responded. "I will never accept how things happened. I'm done being manipulated by this world. And we can't go back to how it was before. But I will make my last living moments the most enjoyable they could ever be." Henry, after acknowledging my response, looked at me and looked away. He suddenly had an expression of regret in his face.
Finally!
Maybe he was finally regretting what he did to me. But it was too late. "Well, we now just gotta wait a bit so I can finally put you where you belong, Henry," I said while putting on the headset to his head and taping his mouth shut. Then, after our little conversation, we finally felt the Wii being plugged back in. I forced the Wii menu to turn back on, and I saw Sam looking at us with worry. Finally, I walked over to the electrical box beside the chair and cranked the dial. Henry then finally got severely electrocuted. I could hear his mumbles of pain while that happened. He was finally getting what he deserved. I couldn't be happier. The therapy was coming along nicely. I saw him shaking in pain, with tears rolling down his face.
Oh my God.
After a couple of seconds, I stopped it. I knew by doing this, Henry would forget many details of his life, including stuff about this Wii. When the procedure was done, I looked at Sam and said, "Well, it looks like Edeled can't just teleport back to the MIIS channel anymore. Boo-hoo," I said smugly. "I wonder why." "Oh wait, it's because the electricity made him forget how. The electricity is very good at doing that.
Why is he
It
trying to
cured
come
Edeled
off
of
as a
that
villain?
knowledge. But now, I must cure him of himself." I reached my hand over to the dial, and Sam screamed, "Let him go!" I obviously was not gonna do that. After that, I saw Kyle entering the room with a bloody nose. "Sam, I just don't want Edeled to do any more harm," Kyle told her. "You mean you don't want the corrupted me to do any more harm?"
No!
She replied quietly as she looked back at the TV.
That's why I don't
Then,
understand why he's
without
trying
saying
to
a
come
word,
so off
I
as a
proceeded to
villain.
crank the dial once more. Henry got severely electrocuted again, but this time it was even stronger. He was shaking even more. I could tell he was in extreme pain.
Oh god.
It brings satisfaction to my eyes. I could finally see Henry suffer for what he has done. After a couple of seconds, I stopped the machine. While keeping my composure, I exclaimed, "Well, I guess the procedure is over," I said. Just one more shock. By now, the Wii was doomed to be melted and destroyed by the power supply, bringing more and more power into the Wii. But I just couldn't stop. Punishing Henry is the one and only thing that has truly brought me joy this last 10 years. I simply couldn't stop. This time,
This is
I
really
cranked the dial to
sad.
full, and Henry was shocked badly. He was shaking and crying. I was so happy I could jump. My life could be over right now and I wouldn't have any regrets. Then, Sam turned off the TV. After a couple of minutes, the procedure was finally done. I knew the power supply couldn't handle any more power. Then, Sam and Kyle had a little discussion outside. I even heard some screams of pain from Kyle, but I was too occupied admiring my work. I reached down to Henry and grabbed his chin. "You know, Henry, I have had so much fun with you these last few years. You would feel guilty for what you did to me, but you probably can't even remember what you did," I said. "But I guess this will be our end, since this Wii will melt very soon.
This is still really
Thanks
like
to you."
bad on both ends.
I untied Henry, but he was barely conscious. I sent him to the MIIS channel, and I followed soon after. I saw Henry. He told Sam that the Wii would melt very soon, but I made the screen go to static because I wanted to talk to Sam. When I appeared on the screen, Sam almost jumped at my sight, but then she asked me what I wanted. "I want Henry in hell. That's what I want. I want Henry to burn in the fiery pits of hell," I answered. "You're sick." "You're not the first person to tell me that," I said. "Good," she stated. "Maybe I should pay him a little visit," I exclaimed with excitement. "Don't," she demanded. There was a pause. "Why so angry, Sam? Is it because I gave Henry some therapy?" I asked smugly.
Why is he trying to come off as the
"Some
villain
therapy?
so bad?
It's torture," she yelled. "Oh, shut up. It's not torture. It's an actual recognized form of therapy," I said.
Not with
"I
that
don't
much
give a damn
volts.
what it is.
Probably
It's torture,"
probably less
Sam
amounts.
yelled again. "If you insist. But let's pay Henry a little visit." I cut the screen to static again. While I made my way to the MIIS channel, the static stopped, and now I was at the MIIS channel, standing facing Henry. I saw that the textures of the MIIS channel were beginning to go all over the place, corrupting. This likely meant that the Wii was beginning to overheat. "Hello, Edeled. How are you?" I said with enthusiasm. You get away from me," Henry said with anger. "Why should I? Oh, wait. You're going to get your axe and try to chop my legs off again. Well, guess what, little me? You can't. The axe no longer exists, nor any other weapon exists on this Wii. I wiped it all out from this console," I exclaimed. "No."
It's so weird.
Edeled sighed.
Everything's just coming together.
"But there's really no point in giving you any more pain, though. This Wii will melt in the next half hour. So there's really no point in doing anything anymore," I concluded. Henry looked at me and said, "Burn in hell." We were both silent
Along
after
with
that.
you, both of you
I
guys
knew that I
going.
had completed the deed. I was satisfied. The debt was done. Sam picked me up and dragged me over to the delete icon, and deleted me.
Both of you guys
Sam
going
had
down
successfully
there.
gotten rid of me, once and for all.
Wow.
I only ended up falling. The tones of my body dipped backwards. My pupils dilated at this new, yet such familiar sight. Was I back in the void again? I wasn't wrong. The entire world had seemed to finally crash down on me. The walls collapsed, and the fall was endless. Unlike last time, a peculiar feeling entered me.
It's so weird.
I was senseless, helpless even, but I felt relieved. Everything had felt finally complete for me,
It's so
and
weird.
this was something I had never felt before. I finally sensed what happiness feels like. I had left the world I was once in before, and entered the never-ending void. This was destined to be my fate, permanently.
So is this?
I am finally rid of the aggravation,
Huh.
the wounds which have slowly repressed, the scars that healed, but were meant to bleed. All of the numbness I felt throughout my trial of life has been put at rest. Someday, somehow, in some way, I'd finally be able to understand the satisfaction of getting my vengeance to this world. It was never always going to be innumerable faults and despair. I finally got what I wanted, and what I wished for ever so much. I made Henry get what he deserved, and put myself at rest for the nightmare I lived, all thanks to him. My hurting lasted for long enough, and this retaliation was far overdue. It didn't seem to come to affect me, whether I'd be dragged into the dim pits of hell to eternally serve a sentence, or I'd be blessed and carried in arms to hear the anthem of angels at the gates of heaven and be forgiven for my sins. It all felt complete.
This is so weird.
I finally tied up the loose knots and ends for myself. My name is, or
Austin?
was, Austin. I was granted the title of being considered human in that life. But, oh, how wrong they were about me. I used to hold the belief dearly to myself that I was against the entire world. I anticipated and feared that all would turn imprecise for me. I never thought that I'd be able to feel something that could bring me content, relief, and happiness through that life. And yet again, I surprised myself. Or rather, the world can surprise me. I finally got to hold the emotions I've lingered for, desired for, begged and pleaded for throughout my entire life. Reprisal and recrimination for those who wronged me before finally came. I felt okay. I felt happiness. I finally found out what it felt like, knowing that I was able to make things right and make those who were against me agonize in their wounds for it. This was my life as Austin. This is the end of the road for me. And I got the ending I always wanted, to feel happy. And now, wherever this void takes me, I shall follow and keep falling. Farewell, and perhaps maybe we can meet again in a new life. Until then, sayonara.
Sayonara, Austin.
Austin.
That's awesome. I like how he kind of had a happy ending. It's weird that we kind of don't know what happened to Etelet, though. Like, he just said goodbye at the end, and we don't know what happened to him. But at least Austin, had a happy ending, technically. We deleted you, corrupted data, revived. This was awesome. This whole movie thing was awesome. I love, the different, how they had us on Etelet's side. And we freaking was there for him. And then all of a sudden they were like, actually, there's another point of view that you guys should know about. And it was freaking Austin's, and it's just a lot. Honestly, it's so much. I like that. It's just the whole credits. But personally, at the end of the day, I still don't like Etelet. I feel like some of you guys were saying that, oh, you might go back and forth and whether he's really such a bad guy or not. But no, I don't. Personally, I don't like what either of them did. Austin at the end to take a revenge, and then Henry for killing him in the first place and then acting like the victim the whole entire time. I don't like either of that. I don't justify any of that. But personally, I guess I don't like Henry even more because he wanted to sit there and act like he did nothing wrong. Only until the end where he finally regretted it. But he wanted to sit there and act like he did nothing wrong. He didn't deserve any of this. And Austin owned up to it. He was like, no. I know what I'm doing is bad, but who cares? It feels good to take revenge. I don't know. Personally, I like Austin a little bit more, honestly. But that's just my thoughts. You guys let me know down below in the comments. I'm finally gonna start reading them because before there was too much spoilers. There was so much spoilers that I actually had to stop reading the comments for these after a while. But now I'm finally gonna start reading them again, and honestly, this has been an amazing journey. I personally really... Is this the Persona music? Wait, is this Persona music? It really sounds like Persona music. I'm gonna have to look this up probably afterwards. But honestly, this was a nice, honest, great, movie, I guess you could say, because it was 3 hours long. I'm happy I finally finished it. It was so good. It was just so good. And I'm so happy that I'm just happy I finished it, honestly. But anyways, as for now, thank you guys so much for watching. That's gonna be it from me. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like down below. And if you want to see more from me, feel free to check out my channel and hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you in my next video. Nina! Whoa. Oh, that's weird. Overheat. Kyle's Wii? Oh, this is so weird and nostalgic. Oh my gosh, I remember when I had the Wii. Whose Wii is this about to be? F? W? Wii? Just Wii? Wii's Wii, you know? Huh. Oh, are they just about to wipe the whole thing clean? Huh, interesting. So the whole Wii just gets wiped. Huh. What a weird, like that's so awesome how they ended it off that way. It's like, okay, we're just going to, you know. We deleted you aftermath. Definitely let me know, guys, if you want me to react to that one too. I didn't know there's more to this. Oh, this is so freaking amazing. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Nina